You know that video of those really, really fast people in there? Did anybody here look like those really fast people? No? Despite the fact that we are all different, we all have different parents and different genes and different workout habits and different lives, despite all that stuff, we do actually share 4 things that if we work on will make us better runners. Will make us more efficient, less injury prone, maybe even faster, right? If you want to be faster. We're going to talk about those 4 things. Alright? But the most important thing these 4 things are supposed to do is they're supposed to make our running more joyful. That's the whole reason we're here today, right? More joyful. We're choosing this. The first and the most important thing, I think, because everything that I talk about after this ties to it, the first and most important thing is posture. If you want to be a good runner, you have to have good posture, right? So you can accomplish this with better posture by doing a couple things. One, we're going to sit less. We're going to spend less time sitting, right? When you go home at the end of our day, I want you, when you want to turn the TV on and watch Batman, whatever it is you watch, lay down on the couch. Don't sit down on the couch. I'm here to make your life easier. Lay down on the couch, right? If you work at a desk job during the day, I want you to get up every 30 minutes and take a walk around the office. Even if it's just for a minute. Break that being balled up in your chair, right? We're going to get more flexible through here. I'm going to show you guys some stretches to open up your hips right here to come back at, right? So that's how, number 1, how we're going to have better posture is we're going to sit less. Number 2, we're going to get more flexible in our hips. I'll show you the stretches. And number 3, we're going to be mindful of our posture. And we're going to reset it all the time. We're going to be aware of who we actually are. And we're going to reset that posture. And how you reset your posture is you reach up. Everybody reach up. People are going to think this is a stick-up. Right? Okay, reach higher. I want you to reach up so high that your arms touch your ears. Way up there. How's that feel? It feels a little awkward sometimes, yeah? You feel a little stress in the back? Reach up higher. Okay, now, very important. When I tell you to come back down, I want you to be mindful of what your hips are doing, and I want you to hold those hips in place and not let them drop. Okay? Keep your hips right there. All right, excellent. Now relax. Boom! Do you see that? Do you see what happened? That was your expert sitting muscles pulling you back into your sitting position. That is your old muscle memory. That is the muscle memory we're going to change. The moment you relaxed, your muscles went back to the old position and they tilted your pelvis forward. The problem with having your pelvis tilted forward is, number 1, it makes it harder for you to breathe. Have you ever been running along next to somebody and they're just chattering away? And you're going, right? It might be that they're in better shape. It might also be that you don't have enough room for your diaphragm to move. And you're having to breathe twice as often to get in the same amount of air. When you're rolled over, your diaphragm can't pull in big quantities of air. So that's number 1 reason why we got to have good posture, so we can breathe. Number 2, when your pelvis tilts forward, boom, what you're actually in, you're in pooping position. You are not in running position, right? When your pelvis tilts forward, you can't fire your hamstrings and glutes the way you need to run. Remember how those guys' heels came up so high? That's because they're contracting their glutes and their hamstrings powerfully. And you can't do that when your pelvis is tilted forward. Every day when I walk out to run, every day, I reach up, I reset my posture. I do this during the day at work. I reach up, I reset my posture. I'm mindful of it. If I'm out running, and I notice my shadow on the ground is starting to curl up, my shoulders are starting to come up, I'll stop, and reach up. What do we care? What do we care if we stop for 3 seconds and reset? We're not a cop, right? We're not in the military. No sergeant is yelling at us. There's no college scholarship on the line. Stop. You're in the middle of an Ironman, right? And you notice that you're curling up. What's going to be faster? Resetting your posture we're continuing to curl up and lose power. Right? You've seen the finish line videos, right? You've seen the people at Ironman coming across the finish line like this, right? They can't stand up. Stop. Reset that posture, right? You're in a race. You're in a race. You run past the aid station. You stop. You thank the volunteer. Thank you. Thank you. You get your water. You drink it. You throw the cup in the trash can. It's not on the ground. You throw the cup in the trash can. You get to the end. Reset. Run to the next aid station, right? Excellent. So, how are we going to have better posture? We're going to sit less, we're going to stretch our hips, and we're going to be mindful of our posture. We're going to become more and more aware of what it feels like to be good, to have a good, stable pelvis. Right? Excellent. So step number 1 was posture. Right. Step number 2, I haven't told you yet. How would you know? Step number 2 is lean. Runners need to lean in the direction that they are running in. Now here's the question. What part of your body should be leaning down the road? Should you be in here? No, that's pooping position, right? Runners need to lean from the ankle. I want you to imagine your ears stacked on top of your shoulders, stacked on top of your hips, stacked on top of your ankles. Nice and straight. Okay? You lean forward and it pulls you down the road. Okay? We're going to practice our lean. When I start my runs off every day, I walk out the door, I reset my posture, I lean forward, and when my foot hits the ground, that's the first step of my run. That's how I start every run. Right? We're going to practice leaning forward. I'm going to have you guys reset your posture. Everybody reset. Oh, that feels so good. I'm so glad I'm here today. When you come back down, hold those hips in place. And I want you to lean forward for as far as you can until you have to catch yourself. Then go back and do it again. I want everybody to do it 3 or 4 times. Reach up, reset. Really feel those hips straighten up. Come back down, hold it in place. Lean forward as far as you can until you have to catch yourself. 2 more times. On the last time, good. 2 more times, everybody. Gravity was pulling you forward. You guys can stand back up. You guys went forward anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5 feet right there. Most important question. How much energy did that take? None. That was 3 free feet of forward progress. 3 free feet. What if every step was free? That's joyful, right? What if every step was free? That would be amazing. Lean in the direction you're running. Lean in the direction you're running. That little boy in the picture I showed you in there, that kid is running downhill when he's running uphill. And he has bruises on his forehead to prove it. Right? If you lean forward in the direction you're running, it will make you faster, it will make running easier and less painful. All good things. But this only works if the lean is from the ankle. Because when you lean from the ankle, what direction did we go? Forward. When you lean from the waist, what direction do you go? Down. And then what hurts? Your back. So step number 2, lean, is intimately tied together with step number 1, which was posture, right? We got to have good posture. Number 1, we got to lean in the direction that we're running. Number 2. All right, so step number 3, you know how step number 1, I have this nice clean little word, posture. And step number 2, I have this nice clean little word, lean. I couldn't come up with just one word for step number 3. But step number 3 is stop putting on the brakes. Stop putting on the brakes while you're running. Okay? Here's what, remember how I said it doesn't matter what part of your foot hits the ground when you're running first? Just because it doesn't. It does not matter what part of your foot hits the ground first. But what science actually does say about your foot hitting the ground is, whatever part of your foot hits the ground first, whatever it is, it cannot be at the end of a straight leg. When your foot hits the ground, if your leg is straight, it's like skiing downhill and sticking a pole into the snow in front of you. It is a braking mechanism. You are stopping, right? Now, what do we do about this? Can we think about it? Can we think about landing with our legs bent? For a while, maybe. But the moment you think about anything else, it's over. Do you have a question? Or you just flies? Flies. The moment you think about anything else. Imagine you're the best visualizer in the history of visualizing. You're the Dalai Lama. You spend 6 hours a day inside your head visualizing, right? You're good at this. You're out there running, you're concentrating, you're making sure that that leg isn't too straight, everything's going great, and then Barry is running next to you, and he says, Dalai Lama, did you turn off the coffee pot? Boom! Instantly, you're right back to who you were. The moment you stop concentrating. What we do, if we go inside and we see on that video that you're landing with your legs straight, what I'm going to ask you to do is two things. I'm going to ask you to increase your hip flexibility, because the more flexible you are here, the less likely you are to have to reach forward. Remember how those guys, their heels came up behind them when they ran? That's how it's supposed to happen. We're supposed to provide power back here, but when we're tight here, we can't. And so what we do is we reach down the road to get down the road. Instead of, like we're on a skateboard, we reach down the road. Okay? It's a lot to think about, right? If we're going to stop doing this, we're going to have to do it in a way we're not thinking. Not thinking. If we find out you're landing on a straight leg, I'm going to ask you to get more flexible in your hips, and I'm going to ask you to increase your cadence for the first 2 minutes and the last 2 minutes of your run. What is your cadence? Nothing. Steps per minute. For our purposes as runners, it is the number of steps you're taking with both feet in 1 minute. Alright? How do you find out what your cadence is? You count. You count. The next time you go out for a run, in the middle of a run, you pick 1 minute, you count how many times both feet hit the ground, and that is your natural cadence. I'm going to ask you to increase your cadence by 5%. And you're going to run at that higher cadence for 2 minutes at the beginning and 2 minutes at the end. And this is going to be how we're going to reprogram ourselves. The reason that this works is because you're going to run out of time in the minute to reach out. You're going to have to take shorter steps. Shorter steps. And we're going to have to work on this cadence in a way that we turn our brain off. And how we do that is with the metronome. Right? Everybody gather around so you can hear this. Come on in. Very important thing about cadence. Cadence is not speed. Cadence is not speed. When I have you taking these more steps, it's like when you're on your bike, shifting into an easier gear. Right? You're not going to go faster, you're going to be taking more steps. Same speed, shorter, quicker steps. Those shorter, quicker steps are going to help you not reach out so far.